Hey everyone, welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. My name is Shan, mama of the girls. What's up? Hopefully you've had a great week. This episode is very important. Because we see it on the news all the time. We see the headlines and articles. We see it on IG. We see it on Twitter feeds. And I wanted to talk about people who have children who are not with the children's fathers or mothers, and they date or they're in relationships. Okay? I think that's fine. I think you can do both. Okay? I think you can be a parent to a child and also date. But I also believe that there should be boundaries. I also believe that anyone who is not the biological father or mother of a child should not discipline, put their hands on, bathe, travel with, or dictate how that child is raised or treated. I feel like that's a conversation between both of the biological parents or the grandmothers or grandfathers. Everybody else gets a secondary back seat out of respect. And that's what I want to talk about this episode. It's very important for older parents, for younger parents, for today's parents. So that's what I'm talking about. Right after these messages. Thank y'all for checking out Cozy Womb Podcast. I have Cozy Womb merch on Teespring. Hashtag Cozy Womb Shop. You'll find it. I have it posted on my Instagram, Cozy Womb Pod. I also have it posted on my Twitter, Cozy Womb Pod. Go ahead and add me and follow. I also have Mama's Cozy Closet, where I created merch just for mamas because we do so much, so we deserve. But don't be sad, dads. On Cozy Womb Shop, I have t-shirts on there, something very seldom daddy, because I know y'all don't like to blast, oh, I'm a dad, on my stuff. So I have something for everybody. I have kids hoodies. I have coffee mugs. I have mama's little zip pouch bags that keep our discreet items in there. So check it out. And thank you for supporting the Cozy Womb Podcast. Back to the show. We going back to the show. Boop. Bye.
Bye. Here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
One of my top rated episodes for Cozy Womb Podcast has been the dating while parenting, or the dating as a single parent episode. And I think people are starving out here to know the right and wrong way to do that. And the answer is very simple. There is no right or wrong way to do that. It depends on you. It depends on your limits, your values, your boundaries, respect, responsibility, and leadership as that mother or as that father that you have with that child. And knowing your rights. I've never dated someone other than my kids' fathers, and I've never had to live or cohabitate with their kids' fathers in my house or me in their house. That's never been a thing. I don't believe in it. If I'm not married to a man, I don't think he needs to live with me. I've never had anyone that I was dating watch my kids for me real quick, or babysit them, or take them out without me going, or spend the night, without me there. I've never had that. And I'm not saying that I don't trust them. I'm just saying I've never felt like that was their responsibility to. I've never felt like that was something that I should do or should be allowed to do. And even if they offered, the answer would completely be no. Because as a parent, you automatically feel responsibility to your child. A woman feels responsibility to her child once she finds out that she's pregnant, because she now has to limit certain things that she eats and drinks. She has to limit her exposure to certain places. She has to be more cautious about what she does, what she wears, where she goes, how she drives, what she eats, what she takes into her body. And for a man, for a father, it doesn't really click to him that he's a father until he physically sees that child and holds that child. Okay. So it only makes sense that it takes fathers a little bit longer to build an attachment while we get to feed and nurture and grow and talk to a child while the child is growing within us. Okay. It's different. But equally, I feel like the responsibility should be shared once that child is born in here on this earth. We're supposed to be protecting the child, being responsible for the child, knowing the child is happy, well fed, proper clothing, has the right teaching that they need. Like, we're responsible for that until they cannot do it. They can do it for themselves. Okay. When they cannot do it for themselves, we're responsible. Okay. My kids are in the backyard of the house right now. I'm responsible if one of them fall and bump their heads. I'm responsible if, one of them breaks something or throws something at the house or throw something to the neighbor's yard. I'm responsible no matter what. Go outside. I'm responsible for them blinds if they break it. You know what? The responsibility is there. I would never date someone who I'm still getting to know and have them keep my kids or take my kids somewhere or drive a vehicle with my kids in it. And I feel like sometimes parents get too comfortable with the people they're around that they don't really know that well. That they, maybe they need a break so much that, okay, this is supposed to be my person. They should be okay with my kids. When the reality is it works both ways. Men get too comfortable with their girlfriends, and their girlfriends end up keeping their kids when they shouldn't. Women get too comfortable with their boyfriends, and their boyfriends get to keep their children when they shouldn't. They're not in the mindset of what it is to be a parent. I don't care what you say. The value of someone who does not have kids and the value of someone's mindset that does have kids is completely different, because you instantly feel that obligation to do what it is that you're supposed to do. Okay. And then comes the love in it. And then comes the care in it. And then comes the compassion in it. And I feel like that's something that can be learned over time. But that takes time that people are not giving today. Like, I'm tired of seeing people online leaving their kids with people that they're dating and their kids getting harmed. I'm tired of seeing that. We back. Had to tell them to quiet down. Yeah, I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing girlfriends inappropriately treating their boyfriend's kids, or sitters that you don't really know that well that you find online that are willing to watch your kids so you can go out and have a drink, so you can, go hang with somebody you've been talking to that you find interesting, or go do like a girls' night, which I feel like parents deserve. But at the same time, your kids also deserve to be protected. Your kids also deserve to feel comfort and feel safe and feel at peace when other people are around them that you invite to be around them. That's the thing. Parents don't understand the people that you introduce to your kids, and your kids have to be forced to say hello to. Some people force their kids to hug up on people your kids are not comfortable with. That needs to stop. Stop forcing your kids to hug people that they're not comfortable with. Stop allowing strangers that you know of just associating with them sometimes kiss your kids on the cheek, or touch their hair, or hold their hand, or sit in their lap. Like, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. When I take my kids to the store and I have Ari sitting in the cart and a woman reaches over to touch my child, I correct her and be like, no, especially now in COVID, no, ma'am. You can admire my child's hair, her skin, her face, all you want. Don't pinch her cheeks. Don't touch her hair. Don't touch her clothes. Boundaries. People need to learn boundaries. Okay? Everybody's grandmother is not your grandmother. Everybody's father is not your father. Everybody's mother is not your mother. So don't treat them like that. And don't feel guilty for correcting people on the way that they treat your children. Okay? That's your responsibility to protect your children. And I know what it's like to grow up as a little girl not feeling protected by my parents. Okay? I know what that's like. It doesn't feel good. You might raise a child that's super defensive and super resistant to mingling or getting to know other people because they're just on defense all the time because they don't know what people's character is. And until our children are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, even in their mid-20s, we still have to guide and teach our kids to see people's true character. So imagine a child being under 16 that you leave them with people and you really don't know their intentions. You really don't know that they won't touch your children inappropriately. They won't talk to them in a disgusting, demeaning manner. You don't know. You don't know that this person won't drink and drive with your child in the backseat or won't buckle your child in or feed your child something that you don't feed them. Like my friends know, like I cook my children's food. I don't feed them fast food a lot. I don't take them to McDonald's. I don't give them Burger King. I don't give them certain chips. And I don't give them soda. So don't give my child soda. It's a respect factor. And people who cannot respect the way that you raise your child should not be left alone with your children. And that could be your cousin, your auntie, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, whoever. It doesn't matter. Their dad's family. I'm correcting whoever. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, anything that happens to my girls is on me and it's on their dad. And if Ari is with her dad and something happens to Ari, the responsibility is on Ari's dad. But the worry is always on me. I can't say the same for Anya because Anya has never been solely with her dad in a way where I can't go in and get her or reach him for her. And we have to start protecting our children. We have to start protecting our children. And it's not just boyfriends and girlfriends. Sometimes it's step-parents. Sometimes step-parents treat their stepchildren disgusting, in a disgusting way. In a rude way. I got a new family way and you just over there. You just come over here sometimes so we don't really care. Kids feel that. And I'm sorry. People you date are temporary. People that you're getting to know are temporary. People that you marry can be temporary. You know what's not temporary? You being a father or mother. You being that child's mother regardless of if you do a great job or you don't. You being that child's mother or father regardless of if you're around or you're not. So show up for your kids because they'll always be your kids. That person might not always be your husband. That person might not always be your boyfriend. That person might not always be your girlfriend or your wife. Your kids are going to be the people that are going to take care of you in old age when you start going back to your child mind. Take care of your children. There's so many kids being molested in the same house with their father or their mother and they don't know. There's so many kids being touched by mentors, being talked to inappropriately, being groped and just groomed to allows certain behavior that should not be allowed. There's so many kids being exposed to alcohol, drugs, people just talking to kids, cussing at kids. And then those kids turn around and cuss at my kids and talk down to my kids and spew out the hate that people spew on that child. And if we don't nip it in the bud at home, it's just going to grow. And it's going to rub off on the next kid and rub off on the next kid. That's why it's so ignorant to me for families and dads and moms to sit here and send their kids to school and say, oh, I don't talk to my kid about same-sex marriage. And I don't talk to my kid about people of the same sex having children because we don't do that here. Which is fine. That's your personal opinion. That's how you live your life. But you can't raise a child to be blind to the fact that some people in this world do have families where it's two moms, and you can't raise your child to be blind to the fact that some people live in homes where it's two dads. That's the reality. You can't raise your child to be blind to the fact that, this child is autistic or this child has a disability. If I don't have any people in my family with disabilities, and I know there's people in the world with disabilities, it is my job, it is my duty to expose my children to what a disability is and show them on video and show them in pictures and show them in shows and in movies and point that out and have a discussion, because I don't want my children to be ignorant to it. The last thing you want is your child seeing someone in a wheelchair or only having one leg or something different with their face or their limbs and pointing it out in public. Teach your kids to have some manners and respect for different people. Okay? Just because you don't believe in something or the way other people live their lives, it doesn't mean you have the right to raise your child to be blind to the fact that that is something that is out here in the world and society. Just because you feel you don't want your child playing with a different race of a child or being friends with a different race doesn't mean that they can go to school and maneuver around life as if, Mexican people don't exist. Latino people don't exist. Native Americans don't exist. Black people don't exist. You can't raise children and be like, I don't see color. We all see color. When the police want to identify someone, they ask them, what is their race? What did they look like? You giving them the skin color of what they look like would be a big tip. So stop saying that you don't see color or you raise your kids to not see color. If you raise your kids to not see color, then you raise your kids to be ignorant. Because that's what the world sees. Okay? When your kids watch Power Ranger and they're so hype and they're excited and the boys pick out who they are in character and the girls pick out who they are, what do they say? Oh, I'm the Yellow Ranger. Oh, I'm the Blue Ranger. So they see color. We have to stop raising our kids to be ignorant to what is going on in the world. I'm not saying you have to be for it, but you can't be ignorant to what you see. You can't act like, someone having you sit on their lap and they feel something weird is not something wrong. You can't teach your child to accept someone touching their chest while they're growing and they're going through puberty. No, that's inappropriate. Nobody should be touching your legs, your upper thigh. I tell my kids all the time, this is your chest. These are your nipples. This is your private area. This is your butt. I talk to them about that because I don't want them to, have a situation where someone did touch them inappropriately and they can't communicate where someone touched them. The more your kids know, the better off they're going to be. Okay? Some people might think my methods of parenting is a bit out there because I explain to my children what they see. I explain to my children what drugs are. Not because I want them to use it, but because I want them to know what is out here, what it's called. And so if I'm not around, nobody can push something on them that they're not knowledgeable about. I teach my kids like what words mean in songs. Not so they can say the word, but so they can be aware of the word. And if anybody tries to use it with them, they know that, you can't say that. That's disrespectful. We have to teach our kids about their bodies. We have to teach our kids that it's okay to say no. We have to teach our kids that sometimes, even though you're supposed to be able to go to a teacher, maybe the teacher might hurt you. Maybe the teacher might touch you inappropriately. Even though we teach our children to go to church and be respectable to a preacher or a deacon or someone on the choir, they still can do something wrong. They still can touch you inappropriately. Tell me. Teach your kids that they shouldn't be afraid to tell you what's going on. If they don't feel comfortable with someone, come tell me. There's a nice way to say, please don't touch me. I don't want to talk right now. No, I don't want to come with you. And there's a rude way to say it, and teach them the difference. We can't walk around here, smile, post pictures, be on Facebook, have our kids in gymnastics, sports, mentorship programs, internships at their first job, and have them in the illusion that everybody is good. Your boss is going to treat you with respect all the time. That's a lie. What if your child is 16 and this is their first job and they feel pressured to do good at a job and they don't want to get fired, and their boss is being inappropriate and wants to be able to kiss them in the office and wants to be able to touch their thigh and wants them to come in a little bit early so they can be inappropriate with them? What if your child is going through that? Have you had a discussion about what to do in that situation? Most parents haven't. And when most parents want to have those discussions, something has already happened. What do you teach your child about them walking home from school and somebody trying to pull up next to them and have a conversation that's older? Or them being somewhere where they're not familiar with and uncomfortable? Or what do you teach your child about refusing drinks or drugs at a party? Or at someone's house? Because it's usually happened at someone's house. What do you teach your children about picking friends and the difference between friends and associates? What are you teaching your child about the people you choose to be in relationships with? What is your child seeing with the different people you bring to meet them that you say you care about, and then the next month that person changed? And then the next month you bringing over somebody new. And then the next month you're hugging and kissing on somebody. And then the next month you hate somebody. And it keeps going on and on and on. What are you teaching your child about picking better people or taking their time? Why would you tell your child to take their time and you don't take your time with people? If your child comes to you and says, hey, mom, hey, dad, I want to talk to you about something. This person that you like or this person that you keep bringing to the house makes me feel bad or does bad things to me. Are you going to shame them for what they say? Or are you going to take their information, appropriately address the person without them in the room, and make a decision about what you need to do for the benefit of that child to make sure if something did happen like that, it'll never happen again? What is your stance on that? Are you picking people you like, you date, you've gotten to know over months or a year, over the value of, I want to get married to this person, but I'm going to force this relationship to work with my kids? Are you picking people over your children? And ask yourself, why are you picking people over your children? Are you picking people to come around sometimes and disrespect you over your children having a comfortable home or a comfortable bed? Some kids are really suffering right now having virtual learning Because school was a place where they didn't have to worry about somebody coming in their room. They didn't have to worry about somebody coming in the bathroom when they're using the bathroom. They didn't have to worry about somebody getting drunk and hitting them or beating them. They didn't have to worry about someone being at the house and my mom's at work. And in order for my mom to work, this person has to be at the house, but they make me feel uncomfortable. And they do things to me that I don't like. School has been children's freedom and way to enjoy some hours in their day and not be tormented by the fact that, oh my God, where am I going to hide? How can I avoid this person that my mom keeps bringing over? How can I avoid this person that my dad keeps bringing over? This lady is always smoking in here and I have asthma. This lady is always cussing at me or yelling at me and I don't do anything right. And my dad allows her to hit me. And my dad allows her to punish me. Or when this person is around my mom and my dad doesn't pay me attention. That's a lot. That's a lot to worry about. Some kids suffer from anxiety. And we, again, as parents, have to do our jobs to allow our kids to feel comfortable in telling us things, sharing things with us, being honest. And we have to stop yelling at them when they're scared to tell us things. Because the last thing I want is to raise two daughters who are scared to come to me about the truth, come to me about questions, come to me about them hurting, come to me about them being confused because they feel like I'm just going to yell at them. And I tell my girls all the time, like, I don't care what it is. Tell me. I don't care what you're scared of. Tell me. Don't let nobody tell you if you tell your mom and dad, I'm going to hurt them or I'm going to do something to you. People talk, okay? Come tell me. Come tell me. And if you don't tell me, tell your father. And some kids are not comfortable talking to their parents about that because they just feel like their parents are going to, blow things out of proportion, right? Allow your kids to be comfortable with close family that you trust or close friends that you trust that they feel like they can call for advice or a second opinion where they don't feel the pressure of, I got to talk to my mom and dad and I don't want to. Who else can I talk to? Some kids don't have siblings. Some kids don't have older siblings to talk to. Some kids don't know what to do with a lot of information. And some kids don't have friends that are mature that they can go to for the right answers. So if you have a best friend that you trust, like a sister or a brother, if you have a sister or a brother that your child is way comfortable with and might share a little bit more, allow them to have that relationship. I have that relationship with my nephews where they could call me at any time, any emergency. And what I'm going to do is what I would do as their mother and father. And I will give them the best advice. And I will make sure that they do the best thing that they could do at that moment for themselves. And I do not run back and tell their dad or their mom because that's between me and them. As long as it's something that I can handle, I'm going to keep it between me and them. Okay? That's how you create good relationships with your nieces and your nephews. Trust. Your kid will be way more comfortable in life when they feel like they have people around that love them, they can trust and care about them and can show them some compassion and consideration. So if you're out here dating, that's fine. But have some boundaries. No, you cannot spend the night. No, you cannot keep my kids. No, my kids can't stay over. If there's a party with your family and there's kids there and you would like to invite my kids, we all coming. Be mindful of sleepovers. Most child abuse happens in the same home with their parents, with older siblings and younger siblings, with cousins, at sleepovers, whether it's family or friends, at church, youth groups. Like, we have to be aware and we have to stop acting like this is not a thing. It's been a thing. It's still a thing. I hate it that it's a thing. And we have to stop acting like people aren't pedophiles out here. There are pedophiles in women. There are pedophiles in men. There are pedophiles in kids. We have to stop acting like all police are safe. We hear about the police all the time raping the people that they arrest and getting away with it, meaning they're not getting no jail time for it. They're not getting no probation for it. They at work doing desk work for raping somebody they had in handcuffs. Okay? We hear about teachers having children with students, men and women. We hear about youth coach molesting or having sex with youth players or their own kids. We see the headlines. We hear about moms who are single moms with 2 or 3 kids that kill their kids and stand up in the courtroom with no emotion. People are out here not understanding how to parent. People are out here trying to find happiness in anything they could find happiness in. And sometimes it's at the expense of children's safety. And sometimes it's at the expense of the reality that you want to be loved, you want to feel cared for, but it's by the wrong person. And then the wrong person gets the room to mistreat, disrespect, and abuse you as the person that they're dating and your kids. Your kids become pawns to the fact that you want to date and you want to be in relationship after relationship after relationship. The older I get, the more picky I get. If I'm talking to somebody or I'm dating somebody, no, you can't stay over my house. You can come visit sometimes, but you can't stay over here. I'm not calling you no baby names, no pet names, no boo names. I'm not using no boyfriend. Like, if you over 25 still using the term boyfriend, grow up. Grow up. Okay? There is no us having sex in my house with my kids here. Like, I'm not doing that. You have to be independent. You have to have your own place, your own things. When I spend time with you, I would rather spend time with you when my kids are not around. You know, because kids are impressionable, boys and girls. For me, I know my kids are sensitive. I know my kids love hard. So the people that I will bring around my kids, friends, family, people I work with, I ease into that. Okay? I don't want my daughters to see me dating different people all the time. I don't want my daughters to get comfortable with who I'm dating and then we break up. And then it's almost like you break up 3 times when you have daughters that are sensitive, because you do your breakup for yourself. One of them does the breakup for them and the other one does the breakup differently. Oh, I miss such and such. Oh, where's such and such? Can we FaceTime such and such? Can we call such and such? Like, that's a process to get out of. So when you bring your children around people that you're dating, whether they're good or bad, and for whatever reason that relationship doesn't work, you gotta be very particular, because you're gonna get your heart broke, or that child is gonna get their heart broke when it doesn't work. And I'm not saying this to have a damper on you getting to know people or growing relationship-wise. You just have to be particular about how you go about the process and be respectable. Do I feel like you have to tell, your child's other parent that you're dating? No. But when it comes to the exposure of your child constantly being around a person, I feel like out of respect, I'm open to introducing y'all. So it's not a stranger thing. I would never have somebody I'm dating drop my kid off at their dad's house. You know what I'm saying? Arya's dad never, ever in his life have ever had me have to talk to his girlfriend about Arya, or his girlfriend drop off Arya. It has always been him. It's either he will meet me directly or we'll meet halfway in between our homes and meet somewhere and exchange Ari. It's a respect. People that you're dating have no business delegating, disciplining, beating, or bathing your children. That's not their place. Because if something happens emergency-wise, your boyfriend or your girlfriend cannot speak for me. Vice versa. They don't know their medical history. They don't have their insurance card. Like, let's not mix the fact that maybe a parent of your child wants to play house with someone that you don't know, that you don't have a relationship with, and they're blending the fact that you're playing stepmom to a child, or you're playing a stepdad to a child when you're not even really sure about this person that you're in this relationship with. That's a lot. And I don't know what it's like to date someone with children and have a great relationship with their children and then break up. I don't know what that's like, but I'm sure that can hurt too. Because not only do you have to stop talking to a person that you're not dating anymore, you have to completely cut yourself off from those kids. You got to cut off your caring. You got to cut off your calling up and checking in. You know, I'm not saying all relationships end badly with people who have kids, but it's just a whole different type of gamble. So this episode today, I don't want to put a damper on people who want to date while having kids. I feel like you should be able to do that because you do have to move on relationship wise, but you have to pick your people wisely. You know, don't date someone where y'all have a rocky relationship and you constantly leave your child with them, and then your child comes up missing and they're lying about, the last time they seen your kid, and they're lying about what they did with your kid. And then you end up 3 weeks later finding out that they molested, raped your child, and threw him in a bush somewhere. Stop the process early. If this person is not good to you, doesn't treat you well, doesn't talk to you right, doesn't respect you, doesn't value you, don't introduce them to your children. Your children is not part of the dating process. You in the dating process because you're dating. Okay? So the people that you choose will always leave an impression on them. So choose wisely and be picky. You have a right to be picky. As a parent, a father, a mother, you have the right to be picky. Okay? Relatives that you're related to are always questionable, no matter what. Okay? So don't automatically feel like your child is safe at a relative's house because you related by default. Okay? Family, anything can happen. Unfortunately, it's facts. Friends, anything can happen. Unfortunately, it's facts, okay? Parents that you know from school or any sport program or anything like that, anything can happen. Have open dialogue with your children about their bodies, about their comfortability. If you see your child's mannerisms change when somebody walks into the room that you've been around for years, talk to them. Talk to your kids, okay? Talk to your kids. Because let me tell you something. Being a child that has dealt with child abuse in a molesting manner since I was 5 years old, up on and off till I was 15, it is a part of my life completely. I am 33. It is a part of my life. It is a part of how I look at males. It is a part of how I look at relatives versus family. It is a part of how I choose the men I deal with and the men I talk to. It is a part of how I carry myself. It is a part of the people I allow my children to be around. It is a part of how I pick my men friends. My friends who are men, who are respected by me, why I respect them. It is a part of why I keep to myself, why I don't allow my kids to sleep over people's houses. It is a part of how I look at people. And sometimes it can be a con, but most times it's a pro. It's preventative because I know how I felt living years after years after years, not feeling protected, not feeling safe, and feeling like someone is going to violate me. I know what it's like, and I know what it's like to have relatives that keep reality quiet, that act like things have never happened. I know what that's like too. And I know what it's like for people to whisper and talk on the phone in front of you and act like you're not there. I know what that's like. Don't let it happen to your children. Don't let it happen to your children. If you are related to people and you have to keep them far away from your children, do that. That's what you do. That is a job for you as a parent. If people don't understand that, so what? Okay? Protect the children. Protect the babies. My name is Shan, mama of the girls. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. This is an important one. If you know somebody with kids that is dating, share it. If you have a comment, please leave it on the Anchor app. If you have a comment, please email me at cozywombbmama@gmail.com. This is very important. Please share this episode. You can contact me on Cozy Womb Podcast on Facebook, Cozy Womb Pod on Twitter, Cozy Womb Pod on IG. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. Peace. Hey guys, just a reminder, there is Mama's Cozy Closet that has some merch on there for moms out there. So if you're interested in getting a cute sweatshirt, that kids again, getting a cute sweatshirt, a fanny pack, or a mug, I got some goodies on there for you guys. All right, peace.